everybody, welcome back to Flames Pyro Art for Beginners. Today I wanted to have a little look at showing you how we can create body parts with our pyrography. Namely, we're going to look at this left arm. Let me just find the photo. There's a photo of the artwork I've just stenciled out. Obviously then you just make your own creation of it. You don't have to follow the artwork to the letter, you can just use it as a template. But when we're creating like body parts, as you've seen here with my right arm, it's just a gradual layering up of light shading. Now I find that these large flat rounds are the perfect tool for shading skin tone, as it takes a lot of heat to get them, really giving you a dark burn stroke, which is not what you're looking for when you're creating skin tone. It's all about subtle shading. So we'll see how we get on for half an hour, 3/4, building this arm. And things we have to think about when we're creating body parts is try and imagine in your mind how the arm would look, what shape it would go in. If we look at this from the shoulder going down, it looks like her arm is turned more, here's where the elbow sort of area is, and then the forearm. So all this bit under here is going to be the darker areas that wrap round and curl over the arm. Obviously I've got my graphite outlines, so they're just the parameters I know I want to stay within. And then with using the burn low and slow method, I've got my heat setting at just over 2, which is pretty low for this pen. As you can see, it's not really giving much of a burn stroke. And basically what we do when we're wanting to create an actual body part, which if you think on a piece of wood, to make a free floating arm, leg, whatever, shoulder, stomach, we need to put some shading in, but it also has to have a clean edge to the value. You can't blur over lines. Here we'll see on my tattoo I've gone a fraction over, so I'm going to have to just widen that arm a little, because obviously tattoos don't stick out from your arm. We're coming towards the end of summer now in the UK. We just took the dogs for a lovely walk around the park. There's a lot of dew on the grass, but nice to get out for a walk early this morning. So as you can see, you know, we're not really making massive shading strokes. This is all about layering and finding that perfect blend of tonal values to give the arm depth and shape. So if I want to move over to the shoulder, so I'm pulling my strokes inwards. There's a strand of hair that's coming off. But because you think about an arm, it's wrapping round, isn't it? You know, it's not a flat object, so we don't want to show it flat. So my burn strokes will be coming at an angle. I mean, this is just a base layer. The moment as you get deeper into the piece, you will start darkening up more, but while you're searching for the shape, always start off on a nice low heat. Give yourself room to maneuver. Keep an eye on the time because we're just going to do half an hour, 45 minutes of this, and then we'll time lapse the rest of it, unfortunately. Think about when you're down here and you're right under the side of the arm, that is going to be its darkest point, where there's the least light coming from there. And as you blend out with your shading, you will give the illusion then that there's some depth to the arm. I mean, the right arm was easy enough because I'm right-handed, but it was on the perfect side for me. Where this one, ideally I'd need to work upside down, which makes it a bit trickier to find the values, to find the shapes and stuff I'm looking for. So we'll give it a go this way up. Skin toning is one of the hardest things to master. I personally found during my pyrography journey, I found skin tone is the hardest thing to be able to woodburn, because you don't want to give everybody like a spray tan. And it's all about subtle little variations in shading. And because we're the reference picture I was working off didn't really give you a great deal to work with this right arm. There was a tattoo that was under this hair, but I've decided not to add it. As I said, you just use reference photos purely for templates. You don't have to stick exactly to the letter of them. Use your own artistic license, your own creative eye, and make your own unique piece. So make sure, I mean, you can see there I've stayed within my graphite line. Once I remove that graphite line, it becomes a lot less vision. You can't see as much. Once I remove the graphite line, that's when you get a true reflection of what you've got once you rub out them graphite lines. So I suppose only remove them once you're happy you've got your boundaries set, you know where you are. You can keep them in right to the end, it doesn't matter. At some point you do want to remove the graphite lines, if you're looking to create realism, of course. Which is what I'm always striving for. Now as we move down this forearm, it's exactly the same again, just building up, but this time where this arm will wrap around, what I will do is I'll wrap it coming round there and then the underside, and leave the highest point of it unburnt. With this, I want the direction shorter and like stubbier, so it's more muscle. We have a little Facebook group called Pyrography for Beginners and Beyond by Flames Pyro Art, and we run monthly competitions with a theme that we set, and everybody in the group is welcome to enter the competition. You just submit your piece of artwork that relates to the theme we set, and then as a group everybody can then cast their vote for the favourite piece, in whichever piece gets the most likes is the Pyrographer of the month and wins a few little prizes and features as our banner, and we do a little write-up piece about the artist and how they got involved with pyrography. So if you want to check out a Facebook group, there is a link to it on the channel. You find we're a really friendly group who encourage and never discourage anybody. We never, badmouth or be mean to anybody. It's a group full of inspiration and encouragement. I know my goal when I set the group up was to raise the profile of pyrography within the UK. As I'm UK based, I bet if you surveyed, say, 100 people on the street and asked them what pyrography was, not many of them would know what it is. Which is a shame, really, because it is a magical art form. We just create our art onto a wood canvas. And so one of my missions was to try and raise the art form's profile in the UK and get it a bit more known, and show what some of these fabulous UK artists can do. We have artists from all over the world in the group, mind, and it isn't just a UK group. But when I first set the group out, that was my main goal, was to try and bring pyrography more to the mainstream. All the other art forms, painting, pencil art, graphite art, they all, have got their well-established place, haven't they, in art, where pyrography, they class it as crafting. And not a proper art form. Now, I'm sure there's many pyrography artists that would beg to differ. I know I personally would beg to differ. A piece like this that I've been working on for just under 2 weeks, because I am a burn low and slow pyrographer. And I have other commitments as well, so I can just do a couple of hours here and there. We don't class this as crafting, it's art. If you put it on a oil canvas or a piece of board that pencil artists use, all of a sudden it becomes art. Put it onto a wood canvas, it becomes a piece of crafting. It's like, no, it's still an art form. And you'd be amazed at the level of detail you can get just by gently heating up the wood with special pens like this one here. thing we've got to take into account here as well in a minute is this jacket. So there's a bit of work still to be done on the hair and stuff. I just want to give you a very brief tutorial on how to create body parts. That's my wife shouting one of the cats. We've got two cats, one called Billy, one called Millie. And Billy's not feral, but he don't come in the house in the summer. And we worry about him, he's a bit thin, and we try and get him to come in and get something to eat. I think the dogs from next door, they have St. Bernards, and I think they scare him from coming. And believe it or not, a weird story was the other day, well it was last week, my wife Mandy was out in the back garden pegging some washing out. She heard two cats fighting, so she popped her head over the fence to where the fighting was going on, where she could hear the cats screeching, and one of the cats in the fight was our Billy, and she shouted, "Billy, stop it," to try and stop him from attacking this other cat. A bit later on that afternoon, I was mowing the lawn and I heard this, "Hello," and I looked round and there was a woman popping her head over the fence from the house behind. And I said, "Can I help you?" And she said, "I'm just wondering, has your wife got a problem with my cat?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Oh, it's one of my neighbours heard your wife shouting 'kill it' to a cat." And I said, "No." She was shouting, "Billy, stop it." And she would never dream of saying "kill it." We're animal lovers. And so my neighbour heard her say "kill it." I said, "Well, she didn't say kill it." I said, "We would never dream of saying such a thing." And then this neighbour seemed to chill out and said, "Oh, okay then," and popped off. By my neck, we would never dream of saying "kill it," "go on, kill it," or anything. No, we love animals. It just shows people hearing things, misconstruing what was said, and could have caused a problem. So we have 2 cats, 4 dogs and a snake. So I can pretty much tell you that we are animal lovers. So as we can see with this piece of art anyway now, we're slowly beginning to see some shape. Now this is a process that you don't want to rush with skin tone. What we're at 24 minutes. You crank your heat up too high on this process and it just won't look right. Take your time and think about how the arm would look. I want to turn the board side on. I'm staying within that graphite line. I'm pulling my strokes slightly rounded, only ever so slightly. And as I keep building layers upon layers, it will slowly start to reveal itself as an arm with depth. But these large shaders, because they take a lot of heat to get them burning dark, they're perfect for skin tone. If we were to use one of your smaller space shaders, whatever, it may run too hot. As we can see there, we're slowly starting to build an arm, but I want to go deeper at the back. And what we have to remember is there is a clean edge to an arm. As we keep layering up over and over, we will push the side of the arm down, and then this side we can wrap around and you may even have a bit of a bicep going on that we can add. But that in essence is how I would build an arm, like with this other arm, from scratch, that has depth and tone and shape to it. This arm isn't quite finished yet, as I keep looking for the darker shades underneath and stuff. Hopefully this has given you some insight into how you can take a blank piece of wood and create like a three-dimensional body. it's all just by burning low and slow. Picturing in your mind how the light would reflect I know this arm would start wrapping round. So it'd start creeping in. And then you've got the like underneath of the arm, and then you come out onto the top. And the best way to do it is just experiment, just tinker away, just keep your heat nice and low so you have full control over the heat that's going in. There's barely any heat been absorbed into the wood as I'm doing this, and it'll take me a couple of hours of layering to find the right shading in the right spots to give the three-dimensional look. So that is a little look into how we start creating body parts from scratch. So the key points are keep your heat nice and low. With your graphite transfer lines, stay within them. You know, they're there for a reason. That's the boundary. Don't want to be going outside of the transfer lines. And then gradually, by taking your time, find the right shading tones to give you that look of something that's three-dimensional. So now switch back to time lapse, and we'll continue working on these arms, and hopefully you'll see it all come together over a few hours of work, just gradually touching away and looking for them values. Okay, so have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope some of what I've rambled on about today has given you a little bit of insight with your own pyrography. Practice, practice and practice. And every hour of burning is an hour of learning. So just enjoy yourselves. Don't worry too much at the start of your journey about creating masterpieces. As your passion grows, so will your skill level. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for watching. Take care. Don't forget to leave me a like or hit subscribe if you want to see future videos on how to do other little projects with wood burning. As soon as I finish this project, we will get back to many other different forms of art. Okay, take care guys, thanks for watching.